Hey guys, I'm Sharif from Nuqtah Arts, and today I'm going to teach you how we retouch our photos in just 3 simple steps. So without wasting any time, let's roll the intro. Alright, so today we're going to be working with this image, and this is an image I found off of Google. We did a quick search and we got this image, and I'll be linking it in the description as well. So in case you guys want to follow along with me, you can do so. And our first step is going to be removing all of these blemishes and giving her skin a really smooth texture. So we're going to continue with our non-destructive approach, and we're not going to mess with this layer. We'll make a copy of it, Control J on Windows or Command J if you're on a Mac, and we're going to double click layer 1 and rename this to base. You can call it whatever you like, base, reference, background copy, it's up to you. But what this layer basically does is that since we're not messing with this one, we're going to be messing with this one, directly and indirectly, depending on our approach. So I'm going to make a copy of this once again, using the same shortcut, and I'm going to rename this to blemish removal. And we're going to work on all of our blemish removing, or our step 1 of our blemish removing in this layer. So I'm going to open up Camera Raw again, Control Shift A on Windows or Command Shift A on a Mac. And we're only going to be working in the Basics tab, in the lower half right here, meaning texture, clarity, dehaze, and somewhat vibrance and saturation. So now we want to get rid of all of this texture. See, if I bring it up, then it increases it, it enhances it. We don't want to enhance it. So I'm going to pull it all the way down. And same goes for clarity. If I increase it, it's going to increase the clarity. We want to decrease it. So now our image looks really blurred and a bit hazy. But please note that these are the settings that worked for me on this picture. It could be different depending on the picture you're working with. So you would need to play around with it. But these are the settings that I'm using. And for the dehaze, I'm going to bring it up so we get rid of some of that hazing. And I think this amount is somewhat good. Let's keep it at 25. Yeah, so this is good. So we were here, and now we're here. I know it doesn't look good, but we're going to make it better. And as for the vibrance, I don't think there's any need for it. But if you want, you can add about, like, let's say 10. And we're good to go. Alright, so now our image looks really bad. It looks really weird. So what we're going to do is, the third icon from the left, the rectangle with the circle in between, the masking button, we're going to press Alt. We're going to be on this layer, blemish removal. We're going to press Alt or Option if you're on a Mac, and you're going to click the mask button. So what that will do, it's going to create a mask. It's going to create an empty mask with the black color filled in. So for a mask, if you paint over it with white, it's going to reveal, and if you paint with black, it's going to hide. So since it's already hidden, what we're going to do is we're going to zoom into the image, and we're going to take our brush tool. Hardness is already down. Okay, you can increase and decrease the size by using the left and right brackets. Left decreases the size and right increases it. I think this is a good size. And we're going to go up to flow and bring the flow down somewhere around 40. And we're going to start painting over this image. As you can see, we're removing all of the blemishes underneath, and we're bringing out the smooth texture. So now I'm going to speed up this process so you can see a quick overview of what it's going to look like after this part of the tutorial is done. Alright, so we've completed this step right over here, and this is where we were when we started, and this is where we are. So mostly all of the blemishes that were on her skin are now gone, and now she has a very smooth texture. So, I mean, if this was the purpose of your photo retouching, then we're done over here. Just one simple step. But I want to add a little bit more. So now I would like to increase, or I would like to give her a lipstick and add some makeup over here on her cheeks. So to do that, I'm going to click the base layer and control click or command click if you're on a Mac. And I'm going to select the blemish removal layer. And I'm going to stamp and copy these layers using Control Alt E or Command Option E if you're on a Mac. And I'm going to rename this to makeup. And now we're going to go into Camera Raw again. Open up Camera Raw using the same shortcuts. And I'm going to zoom in to her lips right over here. And what I want to do is I want to increase a glossy look over here. I want to bring out the glossiness. So to do that, I'm going to bring the texture down about right over here. And I'm going to increase the clarity because I like the highlights that the lips are giving off, and we could work with this really well. So this is a good number. And I'm going to dehaze it again so I can add a little bit of that hazy feeling. I think this is good. And now our main thing is going to be in the vibrance and the saturation. I'm going to bring it up quite a bit. Don't worry, this picture is not going to stay like this. We'll make it way better. Trust me. And saturation, I think this is good. All right. So now we're going to press OK. And again, we're going to press Alt and click on a mask. All right. Now we're going to zoom in to the lips. Select our brush. And the flow is already set to 40. But before painting, what we're going to do is we're going to set this to multiply. And now I'm going to start painting. And right off the bat, you can see that she has a vibrant red lipstick rather than those pale lips that we started off with. And I'm just going to paint over this. And voila, she's got lipstick. So this was before, and now we're here. But now I want to continue. I want to add some makeup over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to bring my flow to, let's say, 20. I'm going to bring it down 50%. And I'm going to play with the opacity as well. 20. And I want the opacity to be, let's say, 50. So you can change it by going over here, or when you have the brush selected and you have a number pad, you can just press 5, 6, or whatever number. So if I press 6, it's going to be 60%, 5 is going to be 50%. And if you want to go back to 100, you just press 0. So we're going to keep it at 50. So I'll press 5, and I'm going to get a fairly big brush, zoom out a bit, and I'm going to paint right over here on her cheekbones. Now see, I went overboard over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press X to bring black as my foreground, and I'm going to paint over this again. I'm going to remove this. I don't want that. All right, so I'm back on white and give her a little bit of blush. Now I feel like that the opacity is still too high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the X tool. I'm going to bring the opacity all the way to 1, and I'm going to paint it away. So let's start again. All right, so we're back on white. I'm going to bring the opacity to, let's say, 40. Oh, no, 30. Let's do 30. And I'm going to paint over this. And that looks a little better. Right? It's the same case over here. We're going to paint over here. I'm going to bring my opacity down to 15 now. And I'm going to paint over her nose just to give her some contours. And same goes for her forehead. Bigger brush, same opacity, and then just paint. All right, so let's zoom out. And now you can see the difference. She's got makeup, she's got lipstick, and overall her face is a lot better. So just in 3 steps, we're done. We were here, and now we're here. So we've completed the tutorial, but just to say that more sugar you add, the sweeter it's going to be. So I'm just going to add a few bits of sugar here to make it even better. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in, set focus on the eyes. I'm going to create a new layer, double click it to rename, and we're going to call it eyes. And now I'm going to take my brush tool, press X to change my foreground to white, and I'm going to keep a hard brush. So right click and select your hardness and set it to 100%. Now I'm going to decrease my brush size with the left bracket, and we want it just about the size of her pupil, and we're going to paint over it. Oh, whoops, my opacity is set to 0 and my flow is also down. Bring that up. All right, just paint over it like this and like this. All right, next we're gonna go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I want to do around between 2 to 3, whichever one suits. So I think 2 looks good over here, and press OK. And now I'm gonna pull up the mask again, but this time I'm gonna keep it white because I want to hide parts, not reveal them. And just for reference on what's below, I'm gonna lower the opacity to about this much. So 50% is good. And I'm gonna zoom in on the eyes. I'm gonna make sure that black is selected as my foreground color. I'm gonna press X on that, and I'm gonna go to the brush tool and the existing highlights that were already there. So if I remove this, she's already got 2 highlights on each eye. We wanna keep that. We don't wanna remove that. So I'm just gonna paint over that to keep that. And put your brush hardness to 0 because we wanna do it with a soft brush. And just like that. Just like that. Same case over here. Right here. Oh, whoops, that's too much. Right here. Now I'm going to take off the overlapping areas of her eyelashes. All right. What we're going to do now is keep her opacity at 50 and change the blending mode to overlay. And right off the bat, you see that her eyes have gotten a lot more dramatic than they were. So this is before and this is after. So this is just a little cherry on top method that makes your eyes pop. And with that, we're done. So we started off over here where the face was covered in blemishes. There was no lipstick, there was no makeup, and we ended right over here. That's it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, and share the video. Also, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to be notified of all our upcoming tutorials and videos. That's it for this one. Later, guys.